Okay, then for this exercise, we're going to look at HTML and CSS and create a background image and a background color, and we're also going to look at editing the background image as well. To start off with, then we've opened Dreamweaver. I'm going to go to File and New, HTML, and with the None option of the HTML, make sure then you have HTML5 selected and Create. That gives you your HTML document. File, save that document. I've created a folder on my desktop here, which is called Backgrounds, and I'm going to call this file Index, and that's saved. I'm then going to create my CSS file. So File and New. This time I select CSS and Create. There you can see my CSS file. File and Save. This I'm going to call Style. Make sure it goes in the background folder and save. Go back to your HTML file. This time we want to connect CSS file. So it's connecting by hand. We go to link. It's the linked option. There. href. Your href. Then you can browse through to your CSS link and open. There. Then we go into the related file, which is style sheet. And then we've got type of file, which is a CSS, text CSS link. There. And we close that. That now makes sure that the CSS and the HTML files, the HTML sees the CSS file. Now we can go in and look at the CSS file. I'm just going to go over to my CSS file here, where I'm going to put a body link in there, a body tag, and then open and close curly brackets. Now, before we can put a background image in there, we need to create the background image. And we jump over to Photoshop to do this. Here in Photoshop, my background image, I'm going to go to New and create a new image in here. This is a web image, and I'm going to look at creating an image that is 600 by 600 pixels, 600 by 400 high. You can try your own sizes and see how they fit. And OK. And there we get a new file. I'm just going to make a simple cloud background in here. You can use the colors down here to add fresh colors for the front, foreground and the background. Once you've done that, filter, render, and cloud gives you background colors. File and save that image. Save for web and devices. Go to save. I'm going to call this back BG for big. .jpeg. Make sure it goes into the images folder and save. I'm going to create a second image here. So close this one, Command W. Don't save. File, New. This one's going to be much smaller. I'm going to create something that's maybe 200. Again, you can create something that's your own size if you wish. And okay. Let's give this a slightly different colour to it. Let's go. There we go. And now we go into filter, render, clouds, and there you go. File, save for web and devices. Save, and again, give it a name, so I'm going to call this back mid. MD, medium. Capital M, D, medium. Make sure it goes into the images folder and save. Jump back over now into Dreamweaver and into your CSS file. I'm going to load this background image. Go to background. So you're going to key in the words background image. There it is. And return will take you to the browser. So it's to browse for the image. Go into your images folder and browse. I'm going to put the big in place to start with and open. Make sure you put your semicolon to finish it and save. Jump over now to your browser. I'm using Firefox. And I'm going to go to File, Open File, browse to my image, background, there's my index file, and open. And there you can see you have two files. You have the file which has repeated itself in a tiling fashion there. What we want to do is create one image that doesn't tile. So let's jump back now to Dreamweaver. And I'm going to now put in some information in here, some code which tells the background not to repeat. So I'm going to use background, repeat, and I'm going to choose no repeat, semicolon. File and save, jump over and refresh. Now you can see the repeated images have disappeared and we just have the original image. But unfortunately it sits top left hand corner where we need it to sit centrally. So in order to do that now, I jump back to my CSS file and I'm going to add this time background position in here. And you can see it down there on the list. Background position, center, and there. And I'm going to make space and add top as well in my semicolon. Now that'll make sure it's center and remains at the top of the screen. Save that, and now you'll see my image sits at the top of the screen. If you want to edit at all the image that you've got, then we can jump back over to Photoshop, and by loading that image, open, navigate to your image folder, and the folder that the image you're using, open it, make any relevant changes you've got in there. So we can make some simple changes here by changing some of the colors. So it darkens the image. File and save. Okay, and jump back over onto your browser. You'll notice at this point we didn't have to go into the Dreamweaver. because it will already have altered the image. Refresh your image and you can see the new image is replaced. The old image is replaced by the new image. The next thing we're going to have a look at doing is adding in a small strip. So I'm going to go back to Photoshop. For this, I'm going to create a new file again. This time, this file is going to have a width of 10 pixels, and it's going to have a height of 200 pixels. It looks like that. Select colors, like that, and then use the gradient tool and make a gradient on your file. File, save, there, and I'm just going to call this strip. Yes. In my image folder, sorry, I missed a step. I'm going to go to File, Save for Web, Save. I'm going to call it Strip, and so that's a JPEG. Save, and that's fine. This time, what I need to do is jump into my Dreamweaver, and in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new. I'm going to put a background color on the body. So for that, I'm going to go background color and choose a color, a browsing. For this stage, I'm just going to choose a neutral color and save. I'm then going to create a header. H-E-A-D-E-R. Open and close curly brackets. And then I'm going to give that a width of 800 and a height of of 200 px there. And now I'm going to bring the strip into this by going to background, image, browse to my strip, open, and save. I need to go back into my HTML now because I need to create that header. So inside body, I'm then going to go and add a tag with header. Close that tag and save. In order to centralize that, we also need to put in a margin auto semicolon and save. We jump back over to our browser, and that's what we get. And there we go. And that strip is repeated across the heading. If we go back and we put in a non-repeat underneath there, background, repeat, non-repeat, then you can see when I refresh that, it just goes to the one strip.